Good people, it's Get Up Mornings. I'm Erica Campbell, loving Jesus and loving you on this terrific Tuesday, November the 2nd. It is my pleasure to have here with the Get Up Church, Reverend Al Sharpton. He's here today joining us to talk about some key races and politics in our country. Good morning, Reverend Sharpton. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Sister Erica. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to have you on. We're glad to have you at the Get Up Church this morning. Let's jump right in. We'd like to know your thoughts on President Biden. According to the polls, only 42% of Americans approve of his performance. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that clearly he has work to do. A lot of it is dependent on what the Senate and the Congress will do. Because you must remember, the Democrats have a razor-thin majority, 50-50, 50 senators Democrat, 50 senators Republican. So only when they can get all the Democrats in line, then Vice President Harris can vote, break the tie, and they win something. By having two senators who are very conservative, Senator Manchin and Sinema, they don't have the majority in the Senate. So it's kind of hard for Biden to get a lot through, like voting rights, which I've been on him about, like police reform, which we've been on him about, even his infrastructure bill. But he takes the blame because he's the president.
Right.
You said you're going to bring us together. You said you're going to deliver these things. Yeah. Like I said to him, matter of fact, last night, Vice President Harris keynoted our National Action Network anniversary. And I said, y'all told us that Black America had your back, you'd have our back.
Yes.
We want that.
Yes.
And that's what we expect. So it may not be your fault, but it is your situation. You're going to have to correct it.
Absolutely. Wow. Do you think that he will impact the polls? Today's election day in the race, especially the governor race in Virginia?
It's very possible because where he affects it is I was out in Virginia Friday, and a lot of people are not going to vote the Republican. They're just not going to vote, which is going to help the Republican, because if his voters come out and vote and the Democrats don't come out and vote, which is a lot of the black community because they don't feel the Democrats have delivered, that could take the election.
My co-host Griff has a question for you.
Reverend Al, first I saw you getting a whole jig the other day, sir. You still have it.
Absolutely.
How about that? You still have it.
Wait. Don't. We on with Sister Erica. That was me shouting. I was doing my shout. Don't tell Erica.
Reverend Al, man, and very seriously, in Minneapolis, defunding the police is on the ballot. What are your thoughts exactly on defunding the police?
Well, I think the slogan sometimes is misconstrued. I think that we have to reappropriate where we put the funds.
Yes.
We need to deal a lot more with how we deal with people that have mental illness, how we deal with counseling, how we deal with training. The slogan defund the police, like we want to take all the money from the police. No, we want to balance the budget in areas that are needed more than to keep pouring money into the same ways that have not worked.
That actually makes more sense. And it sounds more understandable because that, when you have friends and people who are officers, you feel kind of torn in the middle because we know what we see in this country, the injustice, but it does not mean that we don't need the police. So I agree with you 100%. Let's talk about voting rights. Several states have implemented new voter rights. Are we headed in the right direction?
I think that the states are in many cases restricting voting, coming with laws, I should say, that are more restrictive and prohibitive. So we must have this federal voting rights law. They're going to introduce later today the John Lewis Voting Act, but it doesn't seem like the Democrats have the votes in the Senate. So we're going to have the same problem we had last week with the Freedom to Vote Act. We must break the filibuster so that only a majority vote will win rather than having to have 60 votes in the Senate. And that's what we're working on with National Action Network and other groups. We must break this filibuster.
Has the anti-lynching bill been passed yet?
No.
That is insane.
And can you believe that? I mean, we're in a time. I was just preaching in Savannah, Georgia 2 weeks ago, and the mother and father of Ahmaud Arbery, who I think was lynched, and the young man jogging in Brunswick, Georgia, that was killed by these three guys. They were there. Can you believe we're in the era of Ahmaud Arbery where you can't even jog while black and can't get an anti-lynching bill passed?
Insane.
That shows how far we have to go. We have a lot of work we still have to do.
Yes, we do. We are talking to Reverend Al Sharpton. You can follow him on social media at real_Sharpton. You can also go to his website, the nationalactionnetwork.net. What message would you like to leave with our listeners today before we wrap?
Today is election day wherever you are. Even if you're not excited, you need to vote to keep yourself represented, keep yourself empowered. You know, every time you sit down at a table to eat, it may not be your favorite meal, but you need the nourishment in your body. We need to keep voting, especially in local elections, because that's where the rubber meets the road.
Absolutely. Happy anniversary to you and the National Action Network. Thank you for all the work that you do. You are sacrificing yourself for so many of us, and we appreciate you greatly. Thank you for being with us, Reverend Al Sharpton, today.
I appreciate being with you. And, you know, like anyone else, I have good days and bad days.
Yes,
but
sir.
When I have a bad night, I get up and try to find Sister Erica in the morning.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Right, God bless.
God bless. God bless. Wow, Reverend Al Sharpton on Get Up Mornings. All right, guys, let's get to this good gospel music. Here's Jason Nelson with Manifest on Get Up Mornings.